to Pastors of Pain.
Yeah!
We are so glad you have joined us.
So glad. I'm not sure I emphasized that enough.
A blessed Lent to all in our vast and holy listening area. I know many of you are listening as a podcast, some of you listening on the radio. We're just very glad that you're with us.
Welcome.
So Father Kerry Wakulich and I are here in the Stillwater Radio Studios. And
Pete
what's funny is that we have not really seen a lot of each other lately. We have been ships passing in the night in a very good way. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah, you were
in a good way.
Okay, you were down in Hugo, Oklahoma. Let me just. Most people don't know where the Hugo Antlers Boswell Triplex are, but it's like Pawnee on the Parks and Rec.
So yeah, so Hugo. So I was down in with our mutual friend, Father Todd Nance, who is the pastor of 3 parishes down in Choctaw and Pushmataha counties.
It's like the size of Delaware, isn't it, or something?
He has
Rhode Island?
Very large area. So he lives in Hugo, Immaculate Conception in Hugo. And then he has 2 other parishes, one in Antlers and one in Boswell.
I nailed them all. Come on, I got it.
So Hugo is a town of 5,000, 5,500 or so. Antlers is probably 2,500, I'm guessing. And Boswell is about 800.
Oh.
But each has their own church. And you could say, well, why don't they all just go to Antlers? Or why don't they? Well, because they're all 25, 30 minutes away from each other. So he does about 100 miles of driving every weekend. So he goes Hugo to Antlers to Boswell, back to Hugo, back to
what? No, that's getting
Antlers.
complex.
Anyway,
all I'm thinking about right now is he's either driving a Yugo, the greatest Yugoslavian import car, or a Le Car, the greatest French car that ever showed up on America's
He's told me he
doorstep.
spent $500 in tolls last year.
What? Oh, because he has to get on the
there's a little toll.
Ride.
Yeah. Anyway, it was just wonderful. So I was the speaker at their parish mission.
Okay, where was it?
So it was one night so I preached all the Sunday masses at the 3 parishes. Then the first night was in Antlers.
Okay.
The second night was in Hugo, and the third night was in Boswell.
And
so it was actually basically the same talk 3 nights in a row.
Whoa.
And it was lovely. It was great to have time.
And it was
with
Sunday
Father Todd.
masses and then Monday talk.
Sunday masses, then a Sunday night talk, Monday night talk, Tuesday night talk, and then I came back on Wednesday.
Oh, well, welcome. We're so glad you're back.
It was awesome. It was awesome. Good people down there. If you're wondering where it is, so it's way southern
Indian
Oklahoma.
Nations Turnpike.
When we were watching the evening news comes from Sherman, Texas.
What? Oh, yes. The
Sherman Denison Texoma. Anyway,
I thought maybe because it's Idabel and Paris are close to each other, and then
Paris, Texas is the next closest parish.
Two things when you're going down on the Indian Nations Turnpike. I think it's exit 1, isn't it? Like Hugo is like exit 1.
I just do what my GPS says.
And then it curves, and as it curves, it slows down, and the Hugo cops are like, watching for you. If you're a Hugo cop, I didn't mean to say that. You guys are doing a great job down there.
Keep it up. Stay safe.
Protecting the good people of God.
It was, anyway, I think one of the things, it was just great to be with Father Todd. It was great to meet a lot of, and I'd been down there before, but never for this kind of extended period of time. So got to celebrate Mass multiple times, just meet people, build some relationships, and just learn about that part of the state and that part of our diocese. And anyway, it's lovely. It was lovely. One of the things they're starting to do down there in Hugo, and I just love this zeal. Father Todd Nance has got some zeal. They are going through like old parish records and directories, and basically finding people they haven't seen in a while and knocking on their doors.
I love that. Are they finding people?
They're just starting this week.
What?
Isn't that fun?
What if they show up to somebody's house and they got moved in 1986?
Well, then you cross them off the list and pray for them.
And so he's got a squad of people?
It's him and another guy.
And they're going together?
Yep.
I love that. Are they calling people up too and just be like, hey,
yeah.
driving up business?
Yeah. Anyway, I just love that. I love that. Just beautiful zeal.
Because that part of the state is not very Catholic.
Not at all.
And
I met a young man in Boswell. He's in 8th grade. We were just talking. He served Mass. We were talking after Mass, and he said he and his brother are the only Catholics in their school.
Boswell, town of 800?
Yep. He lives in like one of the neighboring towns, but he and his brother are the only Catholics. So he was kind of saying, man, it's hard. It's hard. People think we're kind of weird, and I said, stay strong. Stay strong, young man.
Being weird is awesome.
Stay strong. Be a priest. Okay.
Speaking of weird, welcome back.
Speaking of weird, then we're recording this just a little bit before you leave for Costa Rica. What are you doing? This is not a vacay.
This is not a vacation.
Although Costa Rica is, so I've heard, a beautiful country.
I have been to a lot of beautiful countries, and they've all been on mission trips. So I've been to St. Lucia, and that was a tough mission trip. That was really, really, really tough. Just the culture. The culture was beautiful, the families. But it was also working with people and watching plans sort of. I've been to the Yucatan, and we literally landed, went to the place where we were supposed to be, and the priest said, we don't need you anymore.
Oh.
And so we had to go find work for 25 college students to do for the rest of the week. So we painted a church, a massive church that was like 300 and something years old.
Oh.
So this one, Honduras, we were like right on the water, but in an orphanage. And this one to Costa Rica, I have no idea. And I don't like to ask a lot of questions.
This is a Focus thing?
This is, Focus, Fellowship of Catholic
So
Universities.
you're like, somebody else is organizing it, obviously.
My missionaries are organizing it with
When
Focus.
we were asking you where you're going, you said Costa Rica, and we said, where in Costa Rica? And you said,
I don't know.
I don't know.
And I don't know. And it's kind of the best way, because on occasions they've said, hey, we're going to think about doing this mission trip or this mission trip or this mission trip. And I try to avoid the ones that are like, we're going to be bathing homeless people. No, thank you. I don't want to do that.
Why?
Like, we're going to be mending the poor people. So immediately, so I just say, don't tell me what we're doing.
Oh, put me where you need me.
Like, let's go there, and I'll enjoy it. And I will do everything I can to be a great priest for the college students. And, and so I get to brush up on my Spanish, speak a little Costa Rican Espanol. I go, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I have some former parishioners there if you want to go see them.
Oh, okay. Well, it is, it's a good time. There's a lot of good stuff going on.
Wear your OSU gear and see if anyone walks up to you.
I'm going to pass some stuff out.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I'm going to pass some stuff out, bring some, sometimes when you go to the Central America, you find like Duke 2008 national championship.
I love that.
I was like,
wait a minute, they lost in the national.
Duke didn't win that year.
But that is where, I've been to lots of sporting events, and you can always, like, immediately after the game, so two teams are playing, immediately, the Super Bowl, right? So the Rams played the Bengals. Immediately after the game, when you walk out of the stadium, you could buy a LA Rams Super Bowl champs shirt.
Yes.
Which means there are boxes and boxes and boxes of Cincinnati Bengals Super Bowl champs T-shirts being sent to third world countries.
Yeah. Kids in Pakistan thing, or India, or like little remote villages in the Himalayas.
Who are being tricked that really think the Bengals won when they didn't.
Yeah.
One thing I think that you will experience I've never been to Costa Rica, I'm just guessing, is wonderful hospitality.
Whoa.
Yes.
I always find it.
That's what we want to talk about today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want to talk about the importance of hospitality.
I always find it that people roll out the red carpet and want to basically give their best to their visitors who are serving them.
Yeah. But I also think it's even. I don't think you're gonna. I don't know, but like I don't think you're gonna get better hospitality than they normally would give, because I think there's just a natural hospitality in certain countries,
correct,
certain cultures. I think especially, I think you and I both have this experience. I think people who are what we would just call poor
Yes.
are better at hospitality
Yeah.
than people who have means.
I agree.
Why is that?
Well, I don't know, but I got two ideas.
I don't know either.
One is the rule of St. Benedict. He says the rule of St. Benedict, it's written on the stone wall as you go into the Conception Abbey Welcome Center, and it says, welcome all people as Christ.
All guests should be welcomed as Christ.
Yeah, both of us are Benedictine trained. On our new church, the bell tower is actually starting to go up. It's really cool.
I have to drive by. I haven't been
And I
by
took
in a
some
week.
students in there, and I showed them the curved wall where the stone wall is going to go on the inside of the bell tower to get into the student center. And it says it's going to be carved in stone. When I was a stranger, you welcomed me.
Ooh, hey now.
I know.
I like it.
We're chiseling that in the stone so they can never forget it.
Now you got to live it out.
Yes, but that is, those are
That's harder.
I think, are two key components of hospitality is welcome all strangers as Christ. And when I was a stranger, you welcomed me. But one's the rule of Benedict,
Yep.
and one is the gospel. And guess where Benedict took it from? He took it from Matthew's gospel.
Yep.
And so, why is hospitality on your heart right now?
It's just on my mind. I think I have had this on my mind, and there's sort of multiple things that are happening at the parish. You're building a church that you have specifically designed it to welcome college students.
Yes, there's only one way in the building.
And visitors.
One way in that building to that bell tower. That's it. Can't get any other way.
And so, anyway, which is awesome because I think you know how important hospitality is for college students. You have students from all over the world. They show up here. They've maybe never been to Stillwater. You have students from nearby. You have students who are from Stillwater, right? But they're looking for, and you've talked about St. John's as being like a home away from home.
Oh yeah,
for your college students. We have that same kind of mentality at the parish that hospitality is, we would say, kind of one of the pillars of like a stewardship way of life.
Uh-huh.
But it's the first that if people don't feel welcome, if people don't feel like they are a part of something, they are much less likely to ever come back. And so hospitality has to be like a central part of who we are. And so I look at our parish, and there's a lot of things that we're really doing well. I think people have told me like, wow, your parish is really welcoming. And, but I think, like, for example, I don't think we do that good of a job when a new family, so we're actually having a meeting next week to talk about like when a new family comes to the parish. So not a one-time visitor, as cool as that is. And we do get a lot of that, and you get a lot of that.
Professor moves here from Denver, Colorado,
right,
finishing their PhD to show up their three
What
kids.
is the process by which that professor and his or her family feel like they are a part of the parish? And right now it's okay. They get an email, they get a card, they get a but we need to do better. We can do a better job of just really going over the top in welcoming people. The other thing that we're doing is we're actually hiring at the moment for a new position that we're just calling hospitality coordinator. And this person is going to, we do a lot of events. You do a lot of events.
Oh, yes.
This person is going to have a team of people that they're going to work with, team of volunteers, to make sure that every event that we do is top notch. That every event that we do is going to be a ultimately and wonderfully hospitable event. Good food, good ambiance,
cold beer,
all of that. If it's a cold beer kind of event, then the beer better be really dang cold,
dripping ice from it.
And so, anyway, but just as an example, like if you look at our four masses, and so I would say any of my parishioners that are listening to this, we have four masses every Sunday. We have a Saturday night mass. We have Sunday morning 8:30, we have Sunday morning 11:15, and we have Spanish Mass at 1 o'clock. Right now, we have coffee and donuts after one of those. right? Which is great for the people that go to that Mass, which tends to be, the 8:30 Mass tends to be folks who are really engaged in the life of the parish. I look at the other Masses and I say, what hospitality are we? We have greeters who stand at the door. We hand everyone a worship aid,
Right.
that will help them to pray.
Yep.
At the very beginning of Mass, we have a message, welcome to St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church, et cetera. I think I'm most days, I have some bad mood days, but I'm, out front, Father Robert's out front. But we don't do anything kind of before or after that Mass. And so what happens is people come to Mass
Yes.
and they go home. Now, the mentality of some, and I've kind of heard this, is, well, people who come to Mass Saturday night at 5 o'clock, they don't want anything before or after. They just want to go eat dinner.
Says who?
Well, and I'm sure
that
that
would be my
some,
question.
and I'm sure that some do. But everybody?
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of people who their biggest sort of social event of the week is coming to Mass on Sunday. But we don't have anything before or anything after.
Okay.
Maybe they want to eat dinner with us. Maybe they're going to go home and just eat dinner by themselves.
Oh. Maybe they're not going to eat dinner.
What if we had dinner? Yeah, maybe they're not even going to eat dinner. What if we had like a dinner right after? Or maybe not even dinner. Maybe we just had coffee and some cookies and then they go out to dinner. Those kinds of things. I would love to have hospitality in and around all 4 of our Sunday Masses. Maybe even at daily Mass. Maybe even at Stations of the Cross. Maybe even at all of these other kinds of events. So there's a whole other level of hospitality that I think we could be offering that we are currently not. What do you think about that? Am I nuts?
I like the idea.
You think I'm nuts?
No. I'm just, hold on a second. I'm saying, what? You ready? Just take my compliment for a second.
Okay, I'm taking your compliment.
I like the idea of having hospitality. Is it? My brain is already cycling. I had to get a piece of paper and start writing down ideas just to get them out of my noggin so that I could share them with you.
Yeah, share them.
There's a great opportunity I think we're missing. Some people will say, wow, we didn't used to do this. So on one side, people came to Mass for 2,000 years and never had hospitality. Yeah, there was no one ever standing at the door like, hey, would you like to have dinner in our parish hall in the 900s?
No greeters at the Last Supper.
Yeah, no greeters. No one saying, hey, do you want to sign up for our flock note? At, in some sort of Thomas Becket era.
Bible study. I wrote the Bible. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Dominicans and those sorts of, there was no, hospitality. People came to worship the Lord Jesus Christ and the holy sacrifice of Mass, receive Jesus in the Eucharist, and go home. Yes.
Yeah.
That is true. And people may say, well, we didn't do that. We didn't used to do this. I would turn it this way now. I think our culture has changed. As I told this to a parent a couple weeks ago, I was having breakfast with them, and I said, every 4 years I get a different flock of college students. So I have to meet this new generation every 4 years. And the sophomores are different from the seniors. And so that's 2 years. And once you get grad students and a freshman in the same room,
sure,
they don't know the same thing. They don't have the same jokes. They didn't see the same TikTok reels. They didn't watch the same YouTubes. They didn't grow up on the same cartoons. They're just different. Yep. And so what I think every 4 years, again, as a priest, I get a different generation. There's been a cultural shift where people are really alone. We saw that during COVID, that people really wanted to be with other people. And we saw it. It sort of flared up. People became lonely, and FarmersOnly.com became that was a plug. Farmers Only. You can send us some cash to pay for that. Was a shameless FarmersOnly.com plug. People didn't want to feel lonely anymore. FarmersOnly.com.
Will you stop?
Sorry. I just had to go. But there was this everybody knows that people want to be known, seen, and heard. Known, seen,
Yep.
and heard.
Yep.
And that is the culture we live in. Both the adults who are lonely, who their kids don't come to visit them because they live across the country, or they go home all by themselves, or as we know from college students, they just go to their dorm rooms and they don't have any friends.
So the other piece of it, I mean, and this was true before COVID, and COVID just absolutely accelerated this phenomenon. Google loneliness epidemic.
Oh, it's rich.
And it's not specific to age, although the prevailing opinion is there's two groups that are mainly lonely. One is older, and this is just a United States thing, but I'm sure it's happening in other countries. Older people, so maybe people who are widows, maybe people who never married, maybe are far from their children or grandchildren. And then the other is young adults. They are lonely. They are looking for and want community. Now, is the parish the only place where they can find that? Well, of course not.
Is that the best place to find it? Yeah.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so how is that pulled off? What we've decided to do as a parish is to go all in on hospitality to the point that we're going to hire somebody who is going to facilitate. And it costs money, and it's going to be resources.
Victory.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, take it for a test drive. Hey, you know what? At least I think there's a concern that people don't want to try stuff out. They're like, oh, well, we've just been doing this the same way we've been doing it for
right.
40
And when
years.
we do that, I mean, most people who have grown up in the Catholic Church, or a lot of people, they leave. They don't stick around.
Correct.
And so to do things like we've always done it. So I had one person say like, I've never heard of a parish that has a hospitality coordinator. Why would we have one?
Why wouldn't you have one?
And I'm saying, one, I think our parish, we're striving to be different. I mean, I want to do what every other parish does. I want to offer mass and confessions and give the sacraments in abundance.
Agree.
But
That's very generous of you.
We ought to be also different than other parishes. If another parish is not meeting the needs of their people, then we have to be different, and we're going to be different. Anyway, and that's where this sort of hospitality thing, and that's why it's been on my mind so much.
I grew up in this parish in East Tulsa, St. Thomas More. My mom's birthday is March 9th, so say a little prayer for her. Anyway, we went out to White River Fish Company.
Right River Fish Market
up in North Tulsa.
North Tulsa,
and
yeah.
It's the greatest restaurant because you can see.
Go there on a Friday during Lent. The entire Catholic Church is there.
Yeah, but you can see a Mercedes from like Utica Square area parked
fancy.
in a parking lot next to a beat up old Chevy pickup truck. It's like a melting pot. It's Hispanics, blacks, whites, Asians. Everybody is just like, it's just this mob of people. People with
Just a mob of people trying to meet their Lenten observance.
With culinary skills that would put people to shame, and people who only know how to eat.
I miss that place.
Hush puppies with their bare hands. Like
we need
me.
We need a White River Fish Market.
I know. It wouldn't go here. Anywho, so my mother would always talk about like the beautiful, fun stuff that went on at St. Thomas More in 1975 through basically 85, and that 10 years of hospitality and dances and meals and meals on wheels and bringing people into the church life. And then she always says, and then they built St. Benedict's, and that all ended. And everybody moved.
Aww.
Everybody was coming from Broken Arrow to St. Thomas More, and then and it all stopped in about 1990, 89, 90.
Wow.
It just all
So
came
the
to
parish dynamic,
the
demographic shifted.
Oh, and the culture in the neighborhood. I mean, I came back and I left and there was one Mexican restaurant, one Vietnamese grocery store, and now there's like 13 of each.
Yeah, little Mexico.
Yeah, and Vietnamese and Koreans. It's this beautiful melting pot in East Tulsa.
Yeah.
But my mother would always talk about like the beautiful hospitality and the welcoming spirit, and like everybody, it was like Cheers. Everybody knew your name.
Oh.
And everybody called you by name. There was even, like we do this at St. John for our Sunday student supper is everybody has to have a name tag on.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm super pro name tag.
One, I can't remember people's names, as you know. I usually I'm like, hey, O'Brien, and I describe a
You
person.
can call
to
me
you.
father.
I describe a person to you, and then you tell me their name. And I think name tags, it says, hello, my name is boom. It's just so
Father.
easy. Father. K-Wack-Attack. your fave priest in Payne County.
Whatevs.
What do you mean, whatevs? Hospitality?
Yeah.
Give me some more goodness on
Well, just so yeah, we're going all in. It's a very I think this was this was something that was important to us before COVID, and I think COVID has accelerated the loneliness epidemic, has accelerated that people feel apart from each other. I mean, we still have people literally, like Ash Wednesday. There were multiple people who had decided that was when they were coming back to Mass. So we've been having the public celebration of Mass. So right, the COVID shutdown was March, April of 2020. We started having Mass again publicly in May of 2020. We have people who are just now coming back, and it is March of 2022. So they have not been to, and I'm not, this is not a judgment, this is just, it's fact.
Wow.
There are people who have not been to a Sunday Mass at our parish since March of 2020. And there's still people who aren't back.
Wow.
You know, and so we you know, the effort is there. I mean, we're there and we're waiting and we want to facilitate, you know, whatever that looks like. So again, it's not a judgment, but those folks, they're going to need some love.
Mm-hmm. And you know where they can get that love? You don't have to be lonely anymore. It's sfxstillwater.com. Okay, that didn't come out as, it was like in my mind, it was like I had dubbed over farmersonly.com to sfxstillwater.com.
What is your fascination with farmersonly.com?
I live in Payne County.
Are a lot of your students meeting significant others on Farmers Only?
No, but they.
That's hilarious.
I don't know why. It's just stuck in my head. It's a jingle.
That's very funny. Well, anyway, hospitality is incredibly important, and I hope, you know, I know there's parishioners who are kind of maybe, you know, there's always a little skepticism out there, and I welcome that. I mean, we want to use our resources well,
yes.
And I think this is a good use of resources.
SFX.
The other thing that's going to happen is we're going to be able to have a lot more stuff at the rectory.
Oh really? Didn't you send me an email the other day?
There's a bunch of coffee cups in the sink.
I know.
From your little Tuesday extravaganza.
I forgot to unload the dishwasher.
With your dudes.
Yeah, I got to unload the dishwasher.
I got home and I was like, what the heck?
Yes.
I don't drink coffee.
Or 9 cups
These
of it.
aren't mine. Anyway, it's important. So I would just encourage everybody to ask yourself, what am I doing to make my parish a hospitable place for visitors, kind of one-time people, for new people, for people who are just coming back from being away due to COVID. What am I doing? Do I introduce myself to new people? Do I sit by somebody? If I see someone kind of wandering and lost, do I say, hey, can I help you find something? And really, most of the time, they just want to know where the bathroom is. But you can help them do that. And I think especially helping like families with kids, you know, can you kind of help them wrangle their kids, you know, and there's all kinds of things that we can do. If you're good at cooking, we're going to need you because we're going to have a lot more food coming. We have 15 seconds. Go.
Okay. Hospitality, root word. It also has hospital, hospice, which means to guest or welcome.
Well,
wow. Guest or welcome. So you're going to guest/welcome people, which means you're going to be a hospitalitator. That's not the word I was looking for.
That's not the word. Hey, we're out of here. Thanks for listening. And Father Carey, have fun in Costa Rica. KBN. Okay, have a great week. Bye.
Pause.